Welcome to our demonstration of the QuerySurge Thresholding feature. Up till now, when you've executed QuerySurge, you know that QuerySurge requires an exact match between source and target columns in order for a query pair to pass. What we're going to look at now is QuerySurge's new thresholding feature, which allows you to change this for numeric columns and to assign a threshold within which a QuerySurge query pair can pass, even if the columns are not exact matches. And what we're going to look at here is this query pair. We've got a series of columns, both numeric and text columns. And when we look at the comparison of this execution, what we can see is that the large number of mismatches between the source and the target are in a numeric column called sum total. As we scroll down quickly through this, we can see there are a couple of other mismatches in some of the text columns, but for the most part, the mismatches are in the sum total column. So first, let's look at how we can set this up. What we're going to do initially is make a copy of this query pair. And what we're going to do is open up the column threshold options. We're going to tell QuerySurge that we're going to set up our column threshold options from the source query. We're going to use the percentage-based threshold, although we could just as easily use absolute thresholds. And we'll now ask QuerySurge to parse our query and return the columns. Now we've got a full list of all of the columns. QuerySurge doesn't know the data type of the columns, so it's going to give us all of the columns back. We'll choose the sum total column because that's the column of interest for us. And we're going to assign a percentage-based threshold for this execution. And I'm going to save that threshold. And now we're going to do our design time run on this query pair. And now let's look at the results of this query pair. And what we can see is that we only have a subset of rows of the original set of mismatches, because all of the rows that are no longer showing are rows that were eliminated by the threshold. That is to say, those rows lie within the threshold, and therefore they are not counted as mismatches or data failures anymore. Let's go back and look at the original query pair that has no thresholds. And you can see we had 73 failed rows, whereas in our modified query pair we have 7 failed rows. So again, we have the ability now in QuerySurge to match based on thresholds as opposed to exact matches. And if you match on thresholds, of course, you're going to get fewer mismatches than you would if you're looking for an exact match, because you've got a wider target to hit. If you want to see more information about how the thresholding feature works, we have an article in our knowledge base, and you can go to the URL that's showing in order to read that article.